Well, we've known for a long time what comics has inspired James Gunn for his upcoming Superman reboot. But now David Corenswet, our new Superman, has pulled back the curtain a little bit and given us some insight into one specific title we haven't heard about before that's inspired other Superman-related projects. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what comic series he says is a big inspiration for this film, what other Superman project it inspired in the past, and why I think this is going to be a pretty great take. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos. We want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to do it truthfully and transparently, so you are in the know. Well, obviously, Superman is not the first role David Corenswet has taken up, and recently he made a surprise appearance at one of the screenings of his latest movie, The Greatest Hits, and even talked a little bit about the upcoming DCU reboot. Now, he's a professional, so as you would expect, the actor really didn't go into a lot of detail about what specifically is going on, but he did reveal some comic book runs that writer and director James Gunn absolutely took inspiration of, though he does note this movie is very much its, and I quote, own thing. Now, Corenswet mentions All-Star Superman, which is one that we have known about for a really long time, and is absolutely worth a read. But then he revealed that the 4-issue limited series by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, which was called Superman for All Seasons, was also a huge inspiration for the upcoming project. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this book, it's perfectly okay. But Superman for All Seasons was a 4-issue limited series written by Jeff Loeb with art by Tim Sale. Now, it was published by DC Comics way back in 1998 and was kind of a follow-up to their previous big win, The Long Halloween. That story involved holidays, but this one's theme dealt in the seasons of the year. And a ton of the artwork in this project took influences from the legendary Norman Rockwell. Now, the story itself parallels the events from Superman's then origin story by John Byrne, The Man of Steel, but it can be read on its own. Now, what's uniquely different about this comic is the narration. Now, originally Loeb never really wanted a narrator, but he didn't want to tell the story from Superman's point of view. And I think that's something we might want to take from the story and think about as it's possibly integrated into the movie. Now, like I said, the book itself is broken down into seasons, with Jonathan Kent narrating spring as he looks back on Clark's roots as a farm boy in Kansas. The summer season is narrated by Lois Lane as she mulls over her roles as a journalist and then the arrival of Superman himself, which, unbeknownst to her, is her colleague Clark Kent. Now, the fall season is narrated by Lex Luthor, who he considers his control of Metropolis, and I quote, a love story between a man and a city, and this all comes after he spends a night in jail plotting his revenge for Superman. Now, winter is narrated by Lana Lang, and in this story, she reveals that she was actually in love with Clark, but the revelation of his powers and his departure to help the world pretty much put an end to that dream. Now, the comic itself was pretty highly praised when it was released, and it was voted the best foreign comic published in Japan in the Gaiman Awards. But what's more interesting is it actually inspired a previous rather successful Superman project. You might have heard of it, Smallville. Yes, this series was actually the inspiration for the television series Smallville, and Jeff Loeb actually served as a writer and executive producer on the show, so believe it or not, you can probably look to Smallville to kind of get an idea at least of what James Gunn is using as a basis for the portrayal of some of these characters. Now, I haven't read this book in years, and I really feel like I'm going to have to go back and check it out. I did link it down below, and I think it's something pretty special to look at. It once again emphasizes that James Gunn is going back to Superman's roots in dealing with the core and very inspirational version of the character. Combining this with All-Star Superman, well, it becomes pretty clear what he's going after. And this Superman is definitely going to be a beacon of hope and goodness that will inspire the rest of the heroes of the world. Combine that with that Kingdom Come logo, well, the story starts to manifest pretty clearly. We've mentioned several times, I actually believe this story is going to see Superman be the hero that inspires the rest of the heroes of the world, well, to act like heroes. Kingdom Come sees a lot of superpowered individuals kind of running amok, doing their own thing, and in that story, Clark and some of the other original Justice League kind of corral these characters and show them how it's done. In any case, it's great to get some peeks behind the scenes and understand what James Gunn was looking at while he was developing this series. I've linked this comic down below. I definitely encourage you to check it out, and hopefully as we get some more looks at this film, the inspiration will become clearer. But we'll have to wait and see.